It's finally here. Finally, I get to talk about this game, give it the proper review and respect it deserves. Because I swear, man, when it comes to the Armored Core fan base, and when it comes to like basically FromSoft fans in general, like they are mad shit talkers. Like they don't support this game. They just like to like, oh, it's not the robot's not big enough. It's not my cup of tea. And it's like, yo. How do you say you have a small penis without saying you have a small penis? Am I right? Now, yo, jokes aside and shit, is it as really as bad as the game as everybody says it is? Like, first of all, obviously it's not perfect, right? It has its quirks, it has its flaws, its limitations. I think the biggest limitation that a game like this would have is being platform to a fault, so it has to be on Switch too. And that's why you're seeing these graphics. That's why you're seeing like game crashes, this and that. Because the Switch is basically, or the Switch number two, is like an underpowered iPhone at this point. And anybody who thinks otherwise is just you're fooling yourself. Because you probably spend more on that iPhone. What are we up to, like 17 now? It has a better camera, better motion sensor, better processor, better everything. And like, not for me, it's like, I grew up playing Nintendo. I don't like the style on Nintendo or like make fun of them or join the bandwagon of the Nintendo haters. Although Sungrad will most likely disagree with me and be like, yo, you've always hated Nintendo. Hey, you are not, like, your loyalty to Nintendo is questionable, you know? But that's besides the point. I actually made a script talking about all the bad things in this game. So it's not like I'm like, totally fanboying out for my mecha anime. Because like growing up, I watched a bunch of these animes and stuff too, like Tekkaman Blade, obviously Power Rangers and all these Super Sentai, all these types of like more older schooler and old school anime. And like most people like associate like Japanese mecha with Gundam. I mean for good reason. Like Gundam's amazing. But like, people forget that like you can have smaller scale like, mech combat and it's just, you know, your Iron Man versus your some gigantic guy in a iron suit, right? But let's go over the nitpicks, the bad aspects of this game, so that like people won't be like, "Yo, this review is totally biased." All right, so here's the nitpicks. The grades of the weapon stats don't usually match the value. So like if you get like A grades in like certain stats for like your weapons or your armor, that doesn't actually mean anything. Like they can vastly fluctuate. I mean, it's a good indicator to say, oh, this is going to be high, this is going to be low, a good grade or a bad grade, right? Goes from A to I think E. I don't think you can get an F grade. I think you can get an E grade. Some English school, report card thing, right? So I hope they patch that out. Bosses and some enemies have a habit of getting lost in like the terrain or like in the environment because this is like an open world game. So like if you're fighting a boss in the open world, he like jumps across the map or like flies across the map or drills. Like a lot of them like to dig underground. Some of them they just don't like they don't come back. You're just like, wait, what the hell happened? Like it doesn't happen that often, but it happens often enough for me to point it out and say, look, this game has its flaws. It's not perfect. Oh. Unlike, Armor Core, though, where your first tutorial boss is like flying out of the ring. Yo, this is the game of the year, everybody. I swear, dude, Armor Core heads are some of the most biggest ass bitches, I swear, dude. Like, I was playing ranked and I don't know. FromSoft decided to punk me and put me up against the top S rank player twice in a row for my qualifiers, so I didn't get S rank. But if that wasn't enough, like, dude, the thing I hate the most about Armored Core, and the Armored Core fan base will agree with me, is that people with small penises complained about not being good at this game. What I mean by that is They wanted to play this game in a particularly annoying ass way called kiting, and everything in this game was built around melee close combat, right? Like you had siege missiles, you had like a reasonably powerful kick, which they nerfed. Then they nerfed a bunch of other weapons. Like um, every single FromSoft game has that one weapon where people who use this weapon use it because not only is it highly effective, but it's like vastly better than everything else in the game, at least at close range, and that is the Zimmerman, right? They didn't nerf that. They like kind of nerfed it, but like they nerfed everything else much harder because again, like if you have games like this where people fantasize and vicariously live through them, like if you have a small penis and you're playing this game, it's like, damn it, I'm supposed to have a gigantic penis. Not this small, like alien ass looking thing and shit. Like this guy doesn't even have a penis. He's just like a fucking oh man. Well, anyways, back to my video game review. The camera can sometimes get stuck behind walls or in the background or whatever. Uh, this is mostly in the indoor environments. Like I don't notice it that often, but it happens semi frequently. Like it's just something that you have to look out for. Like the camera, especially the auto aim camera, when you start locking onto enemies, like I think that thing is atrocious. Like it doesn't pan out. It doesn't like capture both of the enemy, your player character and the enemy character. And for some reason, the camera just like becomes like still and like you're just locked on, but then like the same time it doesn't move. It's like a weird camera. It only moves like when you pan out and like you're moving back against the enemy and stuff. So the camera can use a little bit of work. Skills are tied to weapons. Shout out to Eclipse because he's the one who brought this up to me, and I knew about it, but I didn't articulate it. And he said it the best. Like, yo, I should be able to put a skill on each of my weapons, like individually. So if I pull out like a laser gun, like right, that can't heal, right? You need like the solid weapons for healing shot. So why not let me use that like pray and spray? You only get like one firearm skill. Well, two technically firearm smash for the two-handed ones, and like pray and spray for the one-handed ones. You just spin around and stuff. So that would be nice to like change that up a little bit. Multiplayer is messy with my friends. List basically not working in game and forcing my team to host and basically create a private game. It's like an unnecessary workaround. So I meet these guys online. Um, we're like we see each other on our lists and stuff. We're friends and all that, and then the next day we play with each other. We don't see each other's games. We can't join each other's games normally. We have to do this like workaround with like making a private game with a password, and then we join, and then that's it. It's kind of fucking annoying, but like I honestly spent like collectively possibly close to an hour with me and my friends just trying to like figure this shit out, like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. It's unnecessary stress, especially since my friends are like they have jobs, they work a lot, and they're usually tired. They don't even want to like waste their time playing this game anymore. Because like I met them through this game and they're like they're pretty chill and shit, and they don't want to play this game anymore because it's like the multiplayer is just a pain in the ass to like fucking set up and shit. Hopefully they're gonna fix that. Playing crossplay, um, that's an issue, right? And here, I'm making a review and I'm trying to like talk about the nitpicks, but here I'm showing off like some of the positive aspects. This is like the treasure hunting, where you just like find like a clue, like basically a treasure map, which is called the beacon, and then you hunt it down, looking at this like image of the map on the right side, and then once you match, you go to that area, and then it'll like say, "Oh, beacon detected," and then you like search around with your scan mode to find it. Right, so this is gonna be like a messy review, but that like honestly, do you want to like go to a sponsored website that's just gonna straight up fucking lie to you? And like how many times have they told you that this game's like this and this game's like that? And like no, don't trust these people anymore. Don't trust game reviewer sites. Don't trust I would go as far as to say don't even trust like some of the top YouTubers now at this point. Like the idea that you're gonna get an actual like honest opinion from people is ludicrous at this point because look at how many people bought this game. Like we have people still playing and making Armored Core videos to this day. The game's been out like 2 years, and like there's barely any mech video games, specifically Japanese mech games, on the market right now. Like Mech Warrior came out with like, and I was just playing that last night. I'll come out with like another. I'll probably take a while to make a review on that. That game is fucking long. I wouldn't say it's tedious, but it's so complex that the complexity is tedious, right? Like you're gonna spend like possibly 10 to 15 minutes just like setting everything up before like you set out on your battles and stuff. But yeah. Some of the English cast is annoying, and their lip sync doesn't match up. I mean, this is to be expected. When I like got this game, I put the voiceovers to Japanese, but then I heard the English voiceovers, and they're not actually as bad. It's just like some of them are really terrible. Like it's just you're better off skipping some of these cutscenes. I'll tell you that much for the storyline at least. Oh my god, driving the vehicles is such a huge letdown. The first when I saw the vehicles, I'm like, oh cool. You got this like Halo-esque looking Jeep Warthog thing. You got like these motorcycles. You got horses. You got this. You got that. No, the suspension's terrible. Like you'll just like hit like a small like dent in the ground and it'll send you flying up in the air. Apparently, like if you have like a heavier arsenal, like this game's name for how they call their mechs and stuff. It doesn't happen, but I have to bring that up. You cannot lock the weapons. I had a video clip of this. But whatever. I didn't want it. This is my part one of my mega long review of this game, so I'll just like talk about it more in part two. But like, you can't lock weapons on a specific arm. So if you have an arm that is more specified into melee combat, like you can't tell it to say, okay, look, I only want you to switch between your melee weapons and maybe a shield and stuff. Whereas, like, your gun arms, just, you put your gun arms on your gun arms. Although, ironically, there are weapon arms in this game where you can literally just take out one of your arms, and now it's just permanently one weapon, but it can't, like, hold weapons. Although you can still use two-handed weapons with it, but yeah. It's like I guess a slight workaround, but like I would like it more if you can just like have one arm for guns, one arm for melee weapons or whatever. Just be more selective in how your character gets to use their weapons. Uh, is that all the nitpicks I have with this game? Well, uh, I guess maybe because the game is open world. My one of my nitpicks is it has that Dark Souls level of stat depreciation. So as you get to like the higher levels, so like let's say I'm upgrading my jump level to like the max, right? But even if I hit that high number, it's not going to be that much of a difference from the 250 mark, if you know what I mean. So if I go up 300, 400, I'm like, oh, my jumps can move faster, but they don't jump higher and this and that. And I think that's mostly due to the engine limitations, because you're just gonna crash the game if you just like jump all the way up into the sky or like move super fast and then like you're moving faster than you can render the objects, which is a problem in this game as well. You can like make your character move really really fast with both like dashing, which is the usage of this game's uh, energy source, if you will. Like it's a what do you call that again? A disposable, consumable energy source that you can collect from in the environment called femto, and you use that to boost really fast. And you can also use the other one, which is dashing, but that uses um, stamina, which is you can replenish it, but it doesn't move you as fast as the femto. So beyond like the me not being able to break the game, like Risk of Rain style, like I don't really have that much else bad to say about this game. Like people will complain about the lack of PvP, and to that I say, yeah. I mean, if people want to get in the dick measuring contest again, like this is why the Armor Core crowd didn't pick up on this game, and like we gotta style on that Armor Core crowd. Like, what is wrong with you guys? You guys got like self image problems, self esteem problems. You don't measure up. Hey man, it's part one of this mega review. It's gonna be another two parts, possibly. Most likely just one more part. I have enough footage for like possibly an hour more of this, but I don't think people are gonna sit through like basically three parts of a 1 hour review for a single game that basically nobody's gonna be playing this, but I have a funny feeling that the DLC is gonna come through for us and just like deliver like, more cool things because as I'm demonstrating to you right in front of you here right now, like your characters get skills that not only augment their abilities but change the characteristics, like the appearance of your NPC, your blank slate, if you will, because you play as your own custom OC, as they will. All right, and to be honest, of all the things in the game to do, I find this one of the most entertaining things to do. As you can see, I'm just like gonna show a demo reel of me consistently and constantly transforming my character over and over again, so you can like get a feel for like what's in store for like your character as outside of the gameplay aspects of you just running around shooting characters, using melee against them, this and that. Because I feel as if that if you have a game like this and you just made it like Armored Core, where okay, the customization, the lion's share of the customization was done on your core, your arsenal, as they're calling it in this game. Like, yeah, that's more of the same, dude. Like we've seen that countless times. Like I could do that in Mech Warrior, I could do that in like indie games, custom robo games, this and that. Like this, the characteristics of this game to like have. Oh, actually, I did. My bad. Damn. See, this is me demonstrating how you can't lock your weapons to a specific arm, so I can just like pull off a weapon and just put it on any arm. So I just want to have this golden arm specifically for these claws, but to at least this like version of the game does not have weapon arms that are melee focused, which will be nice because yeah, that'll take away from the whole difficulty aspect of not being able to whatever. But yeah, that's my personal gripe. A lot of people will be like, well, I should be able to shoot my gun in my melee focused arm, or I should be able to do vice versa, right? Like use my melee focused arm to shoot. Sorry, my firearm focused arm to use melee weapons, whatever. But there's no parts like you don't get damaged parts, like you can't lose an arm, you don't lose any functionality to your arsenal whatsoever. And even though it comes off as arcadey at first, like you have to appreciate the layer of complexity that the stats will like apply to your character, which I'll show off more in part two, where you get like certain like let's just say specialized parts, right? So you'll have like a body that's very strong, it has lots of memory. Memory in this game is this game's version of like weight capacity. So it still has weight, and weight influences movement speed and attack for certain like weapon classes and certain moves like what do you call it? Helm splitter, which is just like this um, vertically descending attack that uses your weapon to just like go down and hit the opponent, and then the more you weigh, the more damage you do, but also like the longer your recovery and this and that. And like the whole aspect. Oh, and by the way, besides the memory being like different from Armored Core, there's also the idea that like you can change up your arm setups. So you can have one left arm, one type of arm, and then the other one another type. And you could even have one as a weapon arm, one as whatever, right? I find that to be pretty cool in terms of like the depth of customization that you can get in this game beyond the whole changing your character into like an immortal like alien demon whatever, which I think is really cool. But anyways, damn, I can't believe I got through that review so easily, so breezy and stuff. And thank you for watching my part one review. My part two review is going to be talking about the gameplay aspects. We're going to be talking about like the stats and how they influence your arsenal, your character, the actual other characters, and all that stuff. All right. Take care.